I am super duper excited because we are going to make New Orleans beignets. And I've never made beignets before. I've actually never had a beignet. And I've wanted to make them for so long. This is the dessert that you see, or I don't know if you call it a dessert. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's a dessert. But this is the dessert you see in the movie Princess and the Frog, where Tiana like puts honey on it and then tons and tons of powdered sugar. She says, the quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And this recipe is also going to try to copy the Café du Monde beignets, which I have heard many great things about. But unfortunately, not all of us live in New Orleans and can get them whenever we like. So we're gonna attempt to recreate them at home. Let's get started. First, in the bowl of my stand mixer, I have 3 cups of flour, or that's 415 grams, and then 2 tablespoons of sugar, and half a teaspoon of salt. Going to put some in the mixer and stir it together real quick. Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've used my mixer. I forgot to plug it in. I mean, I've used it, but I've used it back there instead of on the island. All right, once that's mixed together, then you're gonna need 1 cup of warm milk. You want this to be somewhere between 100 to 110 degrees because you don't want it to kill your yeast. If your if your milk is too warm, then you're gonna murder your yeast. So we don't want that. If you feel it with your finger, it's very warm but not hot. And then we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast to the milk. And 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar. And the sugar kind of just helps feed the yeast. Makes it more active, I guess. We're gonna lightly whisk that together and then let it sit for about 5 minutes until it gets foamy on top. So, this is what it looks like when your milk is foamy. And then to the milk mixture, you're gonna add 1 egg. And you're gonna mix that together. And then add that to the bowl of your stand mixer. You could probably also do this by hand. And I'm gonna turn it on to a low speed so we can get a kind of just loose, wet dough to form. Once your dough is formed, we're gonna add in 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Ooh, butter's so good. At this point, you're gonna change to your dough hook because we're gonna start kneading the dough. Again, you can totally knead your dough by hand, but it's kind of just easier to let the mixer do it. Some people like to do it by hand. Oh my gosh, this dough smells so good. It's been so long since I've made like a bread or something like a yeasted dough. And we're gonna mix in the butter. And once the butter is kind of more mixed in, we're gonna turn it up to a medium or medium-high speed and beat the dough or knead the dough for about 6 minutes. Okay, and then after you're done mixing the dough together, we're going to get it in a bowl. It's a little sticky, but it's not too sticky. And just form it into a nice ball and place it into a greased bowl, and we're gonna let it rise for 1 to 2 hours. Right, my dough is done. Look at this, it grew so much. And now it is time to roll it out. So, oh dear. I am going to flour my work surface very liberally, and I'm gonna dump the dough out. Oh, it feels so like perfect and soft. Give it a nice dusting on top. We're gonna roll this to about 1/4 of an inch thick. All right, this looks like a nice, beautiful rectangle. Now, if yours ends up being more circular, you can cut off the edges just so that all of your beignets are like a perfect shape. But I think mine is good enough. I don't want to waste any. I'm not gonna trim the edges, I'm just gonna cut. And you wanna cut these into like 1.5 to 2 inch squares. Trying to make these as even as I can. I ended up with 32, that's quite a bit. Maybe too many, oh well. Right, so then you're gonna wanna start heating up your oil. I have a deep fryer over here that I'm gonna turn on in just a second. And you want to heat your oil to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. But I've also seen a lot of people just like get a pot, put it on the stovetop and put oil in it. So you can do that too. And then here I have a pan with a cooling rack or a wire rack on it, because that's what we're gonna put the beignets on after we fry them. And then lastly, you're gonna need a ton of powdered sugar to sprinkle on top.
Okay guys, the deep fryer is super loud, so it's voiceover time. I'm putting my beignets into the oil here. I made the mistake of putting too many. You don't want to put too many, otherwise the oil temperature will drop too much, which causes them to not puff up on the inside. 4 was a good number, but at one point I tried 7, which was way too many. Then once you put them in, just make sure they're kind of covered in oil on the top. And it'll take 1 to 2 minutes on each side for them to get a nice golden brown. And then I'm taking them out and setting them onto the wire rack on my baking sheet to let the oil kind of drip off and let them cool down a little bit. And then while they're still warm, you want to put lots and lots of powdered sugar on them. You don't have to sift your powdered sugar, but I did. It's just a little extra step. And look at them, they look gorgeous.
And voila, all of the beignets are done. They look so amazing. I can't wait to eat one. It looks so pretty. I think the key is to shovel mountains of powdered sugar on top of your beignets. Okay, gonna try it. Oh my gosh. So soft and fluffy. Oh my gosh. I love these so much. Like, Oh yeah, I'm wearing an apron now because I was like frying and then putting powdered sugar on them. It's just super messy, and so I was like, I need an apron. That's why. Wait, this is like my new favorite thing ever now. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And I'm not really a big donut fan, but these, oh. Okay, and then if you want to make your beignets like the way they make them in Princess and the Frog, you do some honey on top. Yeah, and then you would put the powdered sugar on top, but I already put powdered sugar on them, so they already have enough, but. I don't want to be over dramatic, but these are life changing. Like, I really need to go to New Orleans now and try the real ones. I suggest serving these hot and fresh. That's when they're best. Anyway, I should just go now. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Okay, well anyway, thank you so much for baking with me today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. It's free, and I'll see you next time. Bye! And we're about to try. I mean,